Hello everyone, welcome to another video. You join me in very sunny, very warm Florida. I am here in the greater Orlando area, and I have this today. This is a Tesla Model 3, and yes, this is another driving POV video, but what's unique about this is, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, I am a gasoline dinosaur. You give me a manual transmission, you give me a V8, I'm a happy camper. So this is my very first time like driving a Tesla at like every day, you know, being a full-time Tesla driver. I have this car until Monday when I go back home. It is currently Friday, and the reason why I am here in Florida is because I'm going to the Juggalo weekend with my pals Revenge of the Sis and a bunch of other people that I podcast with frequently. We're gonna have a great weekend out of it and hang out with the Juggalos, drink some Faygo, and have a good time. We're gonna road trip this to Miami, which is about a 4.5 hour drive from where I'm at right now. And the reason why I have a Tesla is because I got it discounted. My rental agreement was about, I'd say $150 more for the weekend if I got the cheapest gasoline option. So Budget Rental, I'll name drop the company that I rented this from, Budget gave me a discount because I went EV. So I figured, why not see what it's like to live with this thing for a weekend and see what it's like to be a full-time EV owner coming from a petrol dinosaur. So this isn't going to be a how to do this in a car, how to do that in a car, how do you charge it, because there's endless amount of videos about this car. There's endless videos about being a Tesla owner. This is literally just a gasoline dinosaur's impression of what it's like to drive an EV. So let's get right into one thing I really like and one thing I really don't like. Since I'm a negative Nancy, I will start with something that I absolutely do not like at all. And that's the key system. And that's the locking system. As you can see, I have the door locked. I can't get in the car. The mirrors are folded. It's locked. Because this is a rental and I don't own it, and I'll get into that in a second, I have to put the key on the A pillar, the B pillar. As you can see, the car is on by looking at the display. So I have the auto lock feature activated, and when I walk away from the Tesla, it should lock up. It's not locking up. If I threw this key across the parking lot, I can get in the car, no problem. The doors are unlocked. And that's because, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of responses from Tesla people. Let's put on the air conditioner for this because it is quite warm outside. This is kind of lame, I'm sorry. When I get out of the car and I open the door, if I park the car right here, for instance, if I hit the lock, but then I open the door, notice it's unlocked. When I open the door, if I want to lock the car, I have to click lock before I get out of the car, take the key with me, and then the car will lock up. Unfortunately, the way to get around this is, of course, to use the Tesla app. The car even tells me, set up auto lock when you walk away, set up that feature in the Tesla app. Now, I downloaded the Tesla app, I made an account, but the Tesla app wanted two things. One, it wanted my driver's license, and there's no fucking way I am uploading a photo of my driver's license to Tesla. So, no. But second, the Tesla app wanted proof of ownership of the car. I don't own this car. It's a rental. Budget Rental owns this car. So there is no ownership paperwork in the glove box. That's in the office of Budget Rental Car. So I can't activate the Tesla app with this car, even though it's a rental. So I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm sure there's an option I can click, but I didn't see it in the Tesla app. So that's one thing I absolutely do not like at all right out of the gate, because this is a rental. If I owned this and this was my personal vehicle and it automatically locked and it did all that, great, no problem. I would probably like it. But because this is a rental, I have to remember when I open the door to click that lock, and then the doors will lock. So I don't like that at all. Now let's start with one thing I absolutely do like, and that's the amount of space that I have in this cabin. I mean, this compartment right here, you open it, you got two USB-C ports right there, because the wireless charging pads in this car, this is, by the way, a 2023 model year. I don't know if this is the front wheel drive only or the all-wheel drive option. All I know is it has the upgraded wheels. So I don't know if this is the front wheel drive or the all-wheel drive model. I don't care regardless, we're in Florida, so it doesn't matter to me. The wireless charging pads on this car do not work at all. I put my phone down, nothing. It's not charging. Some people on the forum say you got to put it upside down. Nothing. Even trying to put it face down, nothing. So the wireless phone pads here do not work. So I'm happy that there are two USB-C ports here where I can actually hook up a cord and charge my phone that way. But look inside this compartment here. There is a crap load of space in here. I love that. That's a feature I really like. Same with this center console here. There is a lot of space in here for whatever I need. In the back, let's go in the back real quick. This won't lock on me, good. As I get in the back, this is a four-door sedan, essentially. I am seated behind my driving position, and my knees are... If I like really like slouch up in here, then it'll be tight. But if I'm sitting back here for like even a 20, maybe 30-minute even Uber ride, I'm good. I'm good with that. I like that there's two USB-C ports back here, and there's vents for the air conditioning. That's cool. What I also really like, opening up the trunk here, I love how much space there is in the trunk. That's a great feature. I like that very much. And there's even more storage, because if you open up the frunk, there's a decent amount of space in here too. I could put my camera bag right here, for instance. I can even put my whole luggage in here, and it will be fine. The windshield washer fluid, conveniently right there. That's great. Let's start with another thing I really like and what I really don't like. Negative Nancy, I'll start with what I really don't like. I do not like this fake wood paneling. As you can see here, I'm encountering some Tesla build quality issues. Again, this car is, let's see, let's go to the trips to find the odometer. This car has 55,872 miles. So this car obviously has seen some action. It's a rental. I'm not holding this to quality standards, but it needs to be said, look, I can literally rip this off if I wanted to. It's badly scratched, it's coming apart, and it's good, right? Like, look at this. It's coming apart pretty badly up there. The build quality is not that good. Now let's go to one thing I really do like. I like how comfortable these seats are. These are very, very comfortable. I can move it back, forward, electric back mover, and there's even lumbar support. So that is excellent. Let's go to another thing. I don't like that everything is on this tablet right here. Again, I'm a dinosaur. I'm used to seeing a speedo tachometer right here. I don't like the fact that everything is on this one display, and there's really nothing much else for the car to do here, except the AC vents are right there. When I'm driving along, and you'll see it, I'll have my navigation right here, and I'll have the little fun radar thing that looks like I'm on a PlayStation with the car and all of its surroundings. It'll be right here. The speedo's right here. And that's great. That's okay. I can glance over and I can see how fast I'm going. That's fine. I love the fact that the steering wheel feels great. It feels like a really nice quality steering wheel. I like that it's a flat bottom. but if it wasn't a flat bottom, I wouldn't care. Again, and another thing that that really is kind of annoying me with this car, on pretty much every car known to man, there is a lever right here where you pull it and you can manually adjust the steering wheel. In order to adjust anything on this car, you have to go into the screen. So if you want to adjust the mirrors, for instance, you have to go into the car, go to controls, go to the mirrors, select the mirror you want to adjust, and then use this knob right here to adjust. I'm not a particular fan of that, but it is what it is. You know, people think it's cool. I wish there was a switch to just pull to activate the glove box instead of just doing that. That's kind of stupid. But the biggest thing is the steering wheel. I have to use this in order to adjust the steering wheel, and that's just silly. That's just so ridiculous and silly. But I like the fact that you can pretty much change anything about the car right here. I really like the ability to adjust the regenerative braking. Stopping mode, I wanted to hold, so like I don't even need to press the brake pedal. I could just slowly let my foot off the throttle and it will go to a halt and it will hold its position, so I don't even need to press the brakes, which is great for maintenance of the brakes. You don't use a lot of the brake pedals. The regenerative braking is done by the motor itself, which is great. The brake pads therefore don't get worn out, therefore it's less cost for maintenance, which in turn means less cost of ownership. That's great. One thing we're going to do right now when we get going is find a supercharger, because I want to now experience what it's like charging this thing. I've never charged it before. I picked this up from the rental shop at 70%. It's now at 54. So today we're going to be charging this almost to full, because again, we're road tripping this to Miami tomorrow morning. We're going to have people in the passenger seat and in the back seat, and we're going to be loading up the car with stuff, so there's going to be a lot of weight in here. So we are going to be needing as much range as possible. It's also a 3.5 hour drive with, I'm assuming, one supercharge stop along the way. We're going to be on the road for about 4.5 hours, so we want this to be as efficient as possible. What I really don't like this, to go back to the locking thing, I have the feature activated, walk away door lock, automatically lock doors and trunks when leaving your with your phone or key fob. I take the key with me. The doors don't lock. I tried it this morning. I actually forgot the key fob inside the house where I'm staying at, and the doors were unlocked. Someone could have come in if I left expensive stuff in here. Someone could have come and just grabbed it, opened the door, and it just didn't do that. I don't want to let me know that the phone was left on a wireless charger, because the wireless charger doesn't work. Or if it does, it's so small that like I need to get the right size phone at the right size angle in order for it to work. So the phone charger, I don't know if it works in this particular car, but for my phone, in my case, which is MagSafe compatible, I charge this wirelessly all the time. It works. It's just the charging pads in this car just don't charge it. I like the fact that every seat, including the middle seat in the back, is heated. That's cool. I need to find superchargers, so let's find a charging point. Look, there's one right there. 15 out of 20 slots available. Okay, let's go there. Perfect. So now what we're gonna do is go to the supercharger and get charging. Preconditioning battery for fast charging. Okay, that's cool. Put in drive. It's not going. Okay, tap key card to drive. Okay. There you go. The car recognizes the key. I am in. Drive. Let's go. It's so weird driving a car without hearing an engine. It's so weird. But they're popular down here. I was parked next to a Model Y. There's a Model S right in front of me. And I am, like, in the neighborhood where I'm staying at, there are a lot of people with Teslas in their driveway. So it's not like they're unpopular down here. Teslas are very popular. And again, the reason why I am in a Tesla is because Budget was going to give me a discount if I went EV. They were going to give me a Mustang Mach-E, but in order to get the Mustang Mach-E charging on the Tesla network, I need to buy an adapter, and the rental shop just didn't have the adapter. So there goes that idea. I never go Karen on anything, but I'm like, look, this is really not gonna work. I specifically hoped for a Tesla and asked for a Tesla, and you're trying to give me a Mustang Mach-E. Don't get me wrong, the build quality and the interior of the Mach-E I think was better than this, just simply because unlike this Tesla, the Mustang Mach-E is not falling apart on the inside. But nevertheless, they gave me this, and I'm very happy with it. Let's talk about driving, for instance. This is just crazy awesome technology. So this read that person behind the tree. This is reading it's the school bus, but it's reading it as a truck in front of me. It reads it if it has the taillights on. Look, it's even braking, and when it makes a left or right and the turn signal is activated, it will tell me if it's gonna turn left or right with the indicator, which is so awesome. I get the technology in Teslas, and I get the fandom that these cars have. They're fantastic. As a piece of tech, this is awesome. And it actually drives really well too. Like, the suspension is feeling really smooth. The tires feel great. If I make a tight turn and I take a corner a little, you know, a little spiritually, it does the job just fine. And right now I'm regenerative braking. That's one thing that I needed to get used to, is the regenerative braking. With this, the upside is I can go the entire drive without ever using the brake pedal, which is awesome. The downside, if I like lift my foot off the throttle, like right now, that's a very sudden stop. And if you had a lot to eat, or your stomach's feeling a little weak that day, or if you're dizzy, yeah, well, you shouldn't be driving if you feel dizzy. But what I'm trying to say is, you have to let your foot off the throttle like very gently in order to have a very smooth coast to a stop with the regenerative braking. Because like, I'm so used to coasting. Like, if I build up enough speed and I want to coast a little bit before I put more gas on, I need to keep reminding myself, oh, you're in a Tesla, you're with regen braking. So it's a little wonky with that. One thing that I don't like, and I know it's a design thing to maximize efficiency with the wind, is the size of the mirrors. Like, these are pathetically small, and I almost have to second guess what's really next to me, because the mirror angle and the mirror size, there's not a lot to see in the mirror. I don't like that, and the same in here. This mirror is tiny. I can barely see like in between the two back seats. So I wish this mirror was just a little bit bigger so I could see more, like more canvas, but I digress. I'm working with it. I'm dealing with it. It's fine. I do like the panoramic roof. That's cool. We are in Florida. It was sunny as hell yesterday, and I didn't feel anything at all from that. The tint's doing a good job at not allowing a lot of heat in, although when I did touch the glass, it was warm to the touch. But I'm a windows down kind of guy, so I will drive with the windows down. I know that's not very good with range, but I don't care. Chronologically, when I'm filming this, there is currently about 1.5 feet of snow back home, so I'm very happy to not see snow on the ground right now. So I'm very much enjoying that. So we're coming up, we're gonna make the left here, and my foot is off the throttle. And look at that, the regen braking was gonna stop me before I even get to, close enough to the back of this car. Now my foot's completely off the throttle, my foot's not on the brake, and I'm at a complete stop. This is awesome. I don't need to use the brake pedal for this. It's really, really cool. So at the next stop, what we're going to do is we're going to test the sound system, because the sound systems in this car are being raved by people, and I've yet to play any music in this car because I was just focused on getting here safely, getting used to the car. So we're gonna at the next stop, I'm gonna play some music, and then we're gonna test the sound system. All right, royalty-free music because we got to be copyright friendly. Let's crank the volume. Yeah, it sounds good. It doesn't sound amazing, but it sounds good. The immersive audio, it just did something to the audio that I just didn't like. I just want the regular audio to come through. And I'm sure you guys saw, once I adjusted a little bit on the EQ, it actually sounded pretty good. One thing that this car does amazingly, let me give myself a little bit more space here, is the pull. This car, oh good Lord almighty, yep, this thing pulls. And the instant, that is one thing that's extremely addictive. The amount of pull that this thing has from a line, and when you're trying to overtake someone, that is incredible. The instant torque from the wheels is nothing that I've ever experienced before in any gas-powered car. The only type of pull that I've experienced at that strength, that instant, from 40 to almost 60, like that, it took less than a second to get from 40 to roughly 60 miles an hour. So like, that is insanely addictive. The only other cars that I've driven that have that kind of a pull are an E92 M3 and a 911 Carrera, when I worked for a Porsche dealer photographing their inventory. Words cannot describe the amount of pull that this thing has. And again, I don't know if this is the front wheel drive or the all-wheel drive model. I know the all-wheel drive has more grip, obviously, because all power's going to all four wheels. I don't care to find out if this is the front wheel drive or the all-wheel drive model. I'm guessing it's the front wheel drive because it's a rental, and rental shops always get like the basic or mid-range top models for their fleet. So again, someone probably is going to post in the comments saying, oh, if you go to this sub menu, you can find out the information about the car, and I just don't care enough to find out. All I know is this thing pulls, and oh, we're going to have a chance right here to pull from like a dead stop almost. Okay, good. Let's go, and Get in the lane and floor it. Good Lord Almighty. Oh yeah. Okay. That's nice. That's good. That's very, very, very good. That is excellent acceleration. I love it. Okay, we are here at the Supercharger, and look at this. It's telling me which Supercharger has a Tesla plugged into it. That is so freaking cool. Okay. This is my first time doing this, so I'm sure Tesla people are going to be laughing at me because I'm going to mess this up, but it's time to charge. Now, from what I've seen, you got to get real close to this, like almost to the point where I'm going to crash into it. There we go. Put it in park. Out of order stall 5D. This isn't 5D, is it? I don't know. Please plug in at another available stall. Is this 5D? No. Oh, shit. This is telling me it's 5D. I am... Okay, that's incredibly smart. That's amazing. Like, it knew what stall I was in before I even got out of the car, and it read it. Okay, that's cool. Alright. Let's do this again. Okay. We're good. Let's open up the charge port. Opening. Now let's charge. 5A, plug in. And there we go. Green, charging. $35 minutes remaining on this charge if I want to get it to 100%. So if I was at a Wawa, for instance, I could just go in, get a drink, and get something to eat. But Tesla has plenty of things for me to play with if I want to just mess around. Like, for instance, for Toy Box, I can go in and customize the wrapping of the avatar if I wanted to. There's a web browser in this thing. That's cool. Alright, so it turns out you need to get a Wi-Fi. I probably can set up my phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot and connect and watch the browser on that. But what I can also do is just chill, and I could put YouTube on here, play through this, or I have Netflix, I can watch a movie or something. But that's cool. 30 minutes remaining to charge it full. And the best thing about this is the whatever money it costs to charge this thing, it's gonna go to the rental car company, and I get charged afterward with my rental. So that's pretty cool. I also got the option where it's like X amount of money a day, I get unlimited tolls, so that's cool too. So I guess what we're gonna do now is, I guess what I can do actually, I mean, the air conditioning is running, the car's on, so I mean, logically speaking, with any electric charging device, if I turn off the car and I walk away and there's a Target right there, I can just walk around Target, get a drink or something at Target. I mean, I say it, I have a drink right here, but if I want to get something else from Target, this will charge quicker. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Look at that. We charged up to 80% from 50. And the time it took for me to walk from here to the Starbucks and Target, coming back with a drink, and we're already, look, at 81%. So fast charging, awesome. That works. But I think we're going to now turn off the air conditioning, lower the windows, get cooled down by Mother Nature, and we're gonna hang out here until this gets to like 90%. All right, we're pretty much all charged up here.
Was you recording, sir?
First time using this.
Tesla?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a rental for the weekend, and I'm a petrolhead dinosaur, so this is like, yeah.
Where are you from?
Jersey.
Jersey?
Yeah. Visiting friends of mine for the weekend, so like, I got a discount for an EV, so I'm like, all right, cool, might as well try it. Probably wouldn't ever own one, but it's cool. I get it.
I wish I never got this one.
Why?
I drive too much, bro.
Oh, dude. So, the door locking automatically as you go away thing doesn't work. I have to manually use the credit card thingy to lock it.
Usually that only works when you have the
app.
The app.
And it said, because I'm not an owner, because I don't own this, it doesn't work. So I'm like, oh, I have to manually lock it every time. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, one pedal driving, the autopilot, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I get the hype.
Yeah.
All right, you too, bro. I don't need to show where my friend's house is. I know where I'm going from here. Okay. So, hopefully by the time I get back to the house, the real reason why I'm down in Florida, besides going to Juggalo Day, should be at the house. And I'm sorry, let me bring these back up. I am shipping down my old Tascam Model 24 mixer. I'm giving it to my friend Royce so he can have an audio upgrade for Revenge of the Sis and have a better audio product for the listeners. So I don't use the Tascam anymore. I haven't used it full time in quite some time, so it's now Royce's. So he's buying it from me. I'm giving it to him, and he's now going to be the new proud owner of the mixer. So I'm looking forward to handing it off to him, showing him how it works, the features that it has, and sending him up with a better audio system. So I do find it hilarious that the EV is behind this tiny dick mobile. It is kind of funny to be behind such an enormous overcompensating piece of shit, but I digress. So I guess the big thing is, do I like this? Well, as you heard when I was talking to that guy, yes, I do like it. I totally understand how people like this car. I understand why people like this car. I understand why people have a borderline cult following to Tesla. I even almost am completely sold on it. I love the technology. I love I love everything about this. There are some things I don't like, of course. No car is absolutely perfect. I'm just not 100% sure that I would give up my Golf GTI and my Mustang for this. Although I will say one thing. Autopilot is the greatest cruise control I have ever seen in any car. This is magnificent in every single way. I love autopilot. I love how convenient it is. I love how easy it is to use, and I also love how intelligent it is. There are two undeniable facts that are true though, and you just can't argue with them. One, we will eventually run out of oil, and we will need to find another fuel source. And part of me thinks that the electric car will be, for the gas car, what the horse and buggy was for the original car. Just like when the car first came around, horse and carriages, the horse was reduced to a recreational role. I honestly believe that the electric car will do the same thing for the gas car. But I digress. This has been a first impression video. I'm not reviewing this thing. This is just my impression of an electric car, specifically a Tesla, from a gearhead, from a gasoline car dinosaur point of view. And that's that. Alright guys, it is Monday. It is the day that I am leaving for the airport. I just did my buddy's podcast. So this is really like the only other free time that I have left before we do his other podcast at 4 p.m. So I'm going to give my final thoughts on the Tesla Model 3 and my experience that I've had renting this for the weekend. So I've had this since Thursday, so it's now Monday, so I've had it for about 4 days now. So I've had a perfect amount of time to get used to the system, to get used to the car, and to get used to basically the whole Tesla driving lifestyle. And there are things that I really, really like about the car. There are things I don't like about the car. And there are some things about the car that I think are just stupid by design. So let's start with things that I do like. I love the instant torque on this thing. If I put my foot down, it's going. The 0 to 60 is painstakingly addictive. I will never get bored of going very fast in this thing. The acceleration is incredible, and I really, really like the ability to just get out of someone's way, pass someone, and go from a dead stop to cruising speed in a matter of seconds. It's fantastic. I love the speed. It handles for a heavy car, because there's just nothing but batteries underneath here. For a heavy car, this is fantastic as well. It handled great. It's very comfortable to sit in for short drives. The seats are comfortable, but only if you're like commuting to work or you're driving about an hour. We road tripped this from the greater Orlando area to Miami on Saturday. I drove the whole way, and I drove the whole way back. We stopped once to fully charge the car on the way down and on the way back, and that's fine. But there were a couple things that we definitely noticed. So one thing that I didn't like was, as we were driving, this seat has the thigh support, so the front can lift, the back can lift, we can move forward and backwards, and it has lumbar support, as well as the back level thing. It's good with that. That's great. But even with the lumbar support, if I sat in a car and I drove about an hour straight, my legs started to feel uncomfortable. The bottom of my legs felt a little uncomfortable. And I had to constantly like fiddle and, adjust myself to get comfortable in the seat. Again, that's driving a little more than an hour. If you're driving like 20-30 minutes even to work, this is fine. And even right now, I'm completely fine. But I know that if I were to go on a long road trip or have a long commute or a very long day of just driving in general, the seat is comfortable, but it's not as comfortable as my Golf GTI. So I'll give it that. The lumbar support, great. The comfort, the bolstering, it's great. And the tech in the seats, great. Everything's motorized, that's cool. Let's talk about something that I did not like at all. First off, there's no Apple CarPlay integration, so if we wanted to look up something with Google Maps, we had to hope that this would find it itself, and 9 times out of 10 it did. But for the times that it didn't, we had to look it up on Google Maps, get the address, and type in the address manually in the Tesla navigation. That was annoying. But what was really, really annoying, when we put in our hotel from here, and the car calculated the Tesla Supercharger, that's fine. The Supercharger that the car wanted to take us to optimize maximum efficiency was a business park, and it didn't have any food or whatever for us to go to while it was charging. Now, Royce road trips to Miami all the time, so we wanted to go specifically to a specific rest stop on the highway, and we had to manually enter the address of the rest stop and add the stop to the navigation, and that's fine, but the car kept telling us to go to a different rest stop and a different supercharger. It would not, like, if our ultimate destination was our hotel in Miami and our stop was the supercharger, it would not stick to that route. So we had to eliminate the trip, have the single trip be just for that specific rest stop, and then we had to enter the hotel again. That was very annoying. And I know on Google Maps, you could put in wherever you want to go and whatever stop you want along the way, and Google Maps will direct you to that ultimate destination and the specific stops that you want to go to in the most efficient way possible. This car completely ignored it and kept rerouting us to a different Tesla Supercharger. Now, in the car's defense, just after that rest stop on the Florida Turnpike, all the lanes were shut down. So it kept trying to get us to avoid that traffic, but we got off and took back roads instead to get back on the highway. It added about 20 minutes or so to our overall trip, which the car, we can go into the settings and have like, don't route unless it's like 20-minute savings or whatever. We can do that. But still, no matter what we did, it kept like insisting that, no, human, you must drive in a direction that I want to take you, and I'm going to make you drive where I want to drive you. So the car was like, the car was quintessentially very German in that aspect. It was like, no, this is the most efficient, this is the most this is the most direct route, and why would you do anything else? I know better. And to the car's credit, it did. It knew a lot, actually. So that was still just like that was kind of annoying. But let's balance that out with something I really love, and you just saw it now. One pedal driving. I absolutely love one pedal driving. And I know as soon as I get home and I try to drive my gas car, I'm gonna forget to hit the brake. Because I am going to be forgetting that I am not in a Tesla anymore. I'm also going to forget to shift gears. So that's going to be fun. But I barely touched the brakes at all with my entire weekend in this car. One pedal driving essentially took care of everything. And I love the car for that reason. Not only is it less moving of my foot, not only is it efficient as hell, but it is also very good for the longevity of the brakes. Because if you keep using the brakes, it wears out the pads. There's potential damage and wear and tear on the brake pads and the calipers. So that helps with maintenance of the car. Another thing that I really like, I'm sufficiently cool, so let's turn that down because I'm about to charge. Let's talk about something that I equally love and hate. But first, let me set this up to charge. This is actually very easy. Let's talk about something else that I really, really love. So last paid charging station, Fort Pierce, this is where we stopped for lunch. We had roughly 10% battery, and we full charged to 100%. It cost $16.38 to fully charge. And with this car, the range is about 250-ish miles, roughly, from 100 to 0. What I really love about this is how cheap it is compared to filling up with gas. I loved not filling up with fuel. So let me get the charge going so I can give you my final thoughts on the car. I love that along our route, it automatically finds superchargers and charging points and tells us how long we need at the charging point in order to continue our drive to get to our destination as fast as humanly possible. So I really love that about the car. I think that's really cool. Another thing, let's talk about the range. I averaged between 70 and 75 miles an hour on the highway. And there was a lot of traffic going down and from Miami. So the range absolutely takes a pounding if you're running with the AC, if you're running with the heat on, and you're in a lot of stop and go traffic. We had to stop only once to charge us along the way. And it was great because by that time we were all tired. We wanted a lunch break. And once we plugged it into the supercharger, we went and got lunch, and it was full when we got back. So that's great. And I know constantly supercharging an EV is going to do more long-term overall damage to the battery. With these batteries and any rechargeable battery system, you want a nice slow charge. You want to keep it between 20 and 80%. That's roughly ideal for battery health. and having to constantly fast charge and supercharge stuff, that will degrade the battery faster over time. But again, this car has about 55,000 miles on it. It's a rental, so this has been abused by everyone that's driven it. Apart from the obvious build quality here with the wood paneling in here, steering wheel feels great. Seats are comfy. There's no damage. Everything works on the car, and it's been really good. So let's talk about something that I really just didn't like about the car. And that's the overall, I just mentioned it before, but let's talk about build quality. So again, I'm not making a big deal about this because again, it's a rental. If this were my own personal car, I would take much better care of it. But look right here. The gap, I can fit my finger in there if I wanted to. If I really wanted to, I can fit my whole finger in this panel here. It's literally disintegrating. That's poor build quality. And even in beaters that I've rented over the years that, you know, I've rented Chevy Malibus or Toyota Corollas that have been abused as rental cars, the interior is still brand new looking. I know Tesla bros are probably going to be very defensive about this, but it's true. Tesla has a build quality issue. And I know the new ones that just came out, the new generation of models are built better. Hopefully everything newer gets better with build quality. This is a 2017 to 2023 generation Model 3. I don't know the specific model year. I looked through the entire owner's manual. I cannot find a specific model year for this car. All I know is this is a Model 3, and it has the upgraded wheels. I don't know if this is front wheel drive or all wheel drive. I don't know. Judging from the range that I get at full charge, I'm assuming it's probably the all wheel drive version. But again, I could be wrong, and I'm sure there's something I can find in the owner's manual that may say it. But all I know is this car has about 56,000 miles, and it did its job. It's good. Now, but getting back to what I was saying about build quality, one thing that I absolutely noticed and one thing that I really did not like and what I found legitimately annoying, as cool as this roof is, in sunny Florida, we needed to have the air conditioner on a little more, you know, strong here, because I'm even just having my hand right here. I can feel the heat from the sun creeping down onto me. So like if I put my hand here, I don't feel the heat anymore, but as literally like right here, I feel the heat baking into the car from the sun. That's very annoying, but nowhere near as annoying as the panel gap issue with the door in the B-pillar right here. As I'm driving along, if I'm going faster than 50 miles an hour, it sounds like the window's not fully closed. And that's because the way that these things are built, they don't have the rubber insoles in the B-pillar here that other cars do have to help prevent water corrosion, water creeping into there, and wind noise. So that's very annoying. I see advertisements all the time for, you know, third-party rubber insoles you can put inside the gaps there to help reduce wind noise and, you know, water creeping into there. That's an obvious build quality issue. I did not like having to turn up the music louder so it would drown out the wind noise I was hearing right here. But that's also, again, when I was going highway speed. I don't hear the wind gap at all. I don't hear the wind noise in here when I'm driving like 25, 30 miles an hour on the road. Once I start hitting 40, I may start to hear a little bit there, especially if it's windy outside. But definitely at 50 plus miles an hour, I heard constant wind noise here, and that was very annoying. So big, you know, thumbs down on the build quality on this overall with that. So another thing that I obviously don't like about this is, I mean, we're in sunny Florida, so I don't need to worry about winter conditions, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out that EVs and batteries in freezing weather don't perform as good as they do when they're warmer. And the range on these things in winter, like, plummets. So that's an obvious thing that every EV owner has to, you know, deal with in the winter time. But if you're in sunny Florida or you are in a warmer climate, you probably don't need to worry about that. But that's just something that needs to be said. And if I'm hoping to tow anything with this, probably not going to do, you know, good numbers for the range. And I don't even think the Model 3 can tow anything. I'm sure it can, but like, why would I? So let's talk about some things that I find really stupid about the car. I know, and it's all going to center around this console here. Now, on most cars, in fact, every car I've ever owned and every car I've ever driven, the steering wheel, there is a lever down there where you can manually adjust the periscope and the tilt. You can adjust everything about the steering wheel with a manual lever. To do that in the Tesla, you have to go into controls. You have to go to the steering wheel. And then you have to use the knob to adjust the steering wheel. That's really stupid. I don't like that at all. Same thing with the mirrors. I get that you want everything in the center console here, but most cars, they have little controls right here, little buttons for the mirrors to adjust that. Again, you have to go to controls, mirrors, and then you have to use the wheel here to adjust the steering wheel. Again, really annoying and kind of stupid. I don't like that at all. But again, I'm sure Tesla bros are going to be like, well, stop being a stupid dinosaur and just do it and push the button, you fucking moron. The stupidest thing of all. I'm sorry. I have to go into the menu and hit a button to open up the glove box? Come on. Like, there should be a little switch right there. I get you want the clean design. I get you want the spotless, clean aesthetic. But it's not going to ruin the design of the car if there's a little switch right there to open up the glove box. Once you got used to the ecosystem, the daily driving of a Tesla, knowing that you'll have to factor in your charging point. There were times like on Saturday, we went to, like I said, on Saturday, we drove all the way down there. It was about 20% once we got to Miami, got to our hotel. And we were going to leave early in the morning. So after the event that we went to, once everyone went to bed, I went out and I full charged it at another supercharging station. It took about 40 minutes to charge completely. So I had a couple of YouTube videos, watched YouTube. That was fine. It's just you got to get used to EV charging times versus 2 minutes tops filling up with gas. It just takes more time to charge an electric vehicle to get less range than my Golf GTI. And that's not a knock on the car, it's just the fact that this gets less mileage than my Golf GTI. But again, the fact that this is costing me, we charged from it was around less than 20%. We're at 63 right now. And it's costing me less than $10 right now to get to where this is. The amount of money that I am saving by not putting gas in the car is amazing. And I mean, logic just dictates that, you know, assuming I drive safely, I take care of the suspension. That's great. The suspension will, by the way, the suspension in this, let me give another big plus to this. The suspension in this feels amazing. I don't know if they had the suspension serviced at any point, but for 55,000 miles, this still feels like a brand new car. So it drove brilliantly. Anytime I let go of the steering wheel, it didn't veer to the left or right. It stayed perfectly straight on the road. And autopilot, by the way, is the best cruise control system I've ever used. Autopilot's amazing. But what I'm trying to say is the cost of maintenance to own this thing over a lifetime is going to be significantly less than a gas car. So every car, you need to get the wheels serviced, you need to get brake serviced, you need to get the suspension serviced. So that's a given with any car. But here's where the EV maintenance ends and the gas car starts to get up there with cost. For gas cars, you need oil changes, you need transmission fluid changes, you need to get the brake fluid serviced more often because you're using less brakes in the EV. So therefore, the brakes last longer in an EV, especially with one pedal driving. So with gas cars, you need to use the brakes more often, so you need to pay more for brakes over time. There's differential fluids in some gas cars. I'm sure there's a differential fluid in like some EVs, but like, again, I'm not an EV connoisseur, so I'm sure there is for some sportier models. But the amount of moving parts in an EV is just 1 or 2 moving parts, and that's the motor. Everything else is circuits, electrics. So the cost of maintenance and the cost of ownership for an EV is going to be significantly less over time than the cost of a traditional gas car. But that leads me to the conversation of the big question: would I buy an EV? Would I buy this car? And I've thought about it a lot. And as much as I love the concept, actually using this, and as much as I've gotten used to using a Tesla, and as much as I've gotten used to doing this, I don't think I would, right now, I don't think I would buy an EV. And this isn't a political thing. It's not because of Tesla and Elon Musk. This isn't that at all. If I were to buy an EV, I would buy Tesla. I would not buy any other EV. Simply because of how integrated the supercharging network is with this system. Again, as much as I loved it overall, because overall, I really do love it. I get it. I've experienced owning a Tesla. I've experienced the whole weekend of what it's like to live with this day to day. I love it. Yeah, I would, but here's a big but. As far as my knowledge right now, when these batteries run out, if the batteries need to be replaced and you're outside of the warranty, it's tens of thousands of dollars. If the batteries die and you want to replace the battery and everything else on the car is great, again, tens of thousands of dollars to replace the battery. The cost to service this is astronomical because of the materials of how the car is built. If there's an electrical issue, I can only imagine how expensive the servicing is for that if you're not covered under warranty. Finally, let's talk about one of the two big reasons why I personally have not jumped on the EV bandwagon. Well, 3 reasons. 1, the price. I can't afford a new Model 3. It's just too expensive. If Tesla were to ever release a Golf GTI sized, EV, and it gets 300 plus miles, sign me up. And especially if it's cost effective, sign me up. I would gladly do it. If it was around 25K, I would gladly do it. I can get a used Model 3 for that kind of money. But again, I don't know the life that the car had, and especially if the battery health. Because if it's out of warranty, I can't afford the 12 to however, 20 something $1,000 it would cost to replace the battery. That's fucking insane. I would never be able to afford that. I would essentially be buying a gigantic paperweight in that aspect. So I'm not 100% sure about that. I would probably buy brand new. Also, the new Model 3s, from every video I see about it, are significantly better build quality than this generation I'm in right now. But that's first, and that's just my personal finances. So that's really not a fair reason why I'm not going to buy a new EV. Here's the 2 big reasons. 1, I'm a dinosaur. I love the sound of engines. I love in my Mustang, I love turning a key, hearing an engine roar into life. And I love in both my Mustang and my Golf GTI, pushing my foot into a clutch, shifting gears, hearing the mechanics of the car work, and being one with the machine. I'm a dinosaur. I love gas cars. I will always love gas cars, and I will always appreciate the sounds of an engine more than whatever wind fan, thing I would hear in an EV. I'm a dinosaur. I will always prefer the feel and the personality of a gas car. Gas cars to me just have a personality to them. They have that thing about them that just makes them, it makes them feel more like a friend than a device. EVs, as nice as they are, as cool as they are, I feel like I'm in a piece of technology. I feel like I'm in an accessory. I feel like I'm in a device and not a car. When I get home and I get in my Mustang, I'm going to feel like I am in my car. I feel like I'm going to be reconnected with my friend. You know, my Mustang and my Golf GTI that get me from place to place all the time, that get me from, you know, work site to, you know, friends' houses to family houses, adventures I have with them, and feeling one of the machine, grabbing the gear, grabbing the shifter, shifting into gear, feeling the transmission, working with the transmission and the engine to move me along. And there's just something about my cars that just make them feel more personable to me. And I just don't get the fizz that I would get in my Mustang that I do in this. I just don't get the fizz. So finally, the other really big thing why I'm not buying an EV right now, and this is really the big thing, is the environmental impact that these have. So it's no secret, we're here in America. Americans are pretty stupid. We love big, stupid things. Like that stupid Super Duty right there that's taking up 2 spaces like an asshole when there's tons of parking spaces available. That asshole right there is the embodiment of why Americans are kind of stupid, in my opinion. We love big, ridiculous things. People want big, giant SUVs. People want big, giant vehicles to feel safe. And there's a wonderful video from Not Just Bikes, I'll link it in the description, as to why big trucks and SUVs are a fucking bane on society, and they need to all go away, like, yesterday. But here in America, like, a Jeep Wagoneer, a Grand Wagoneer just passed me. That thing is a boat and can eat this car, as small as this car is. What I'm trying to say is Americans love big, ridiculous things. And as nice as this is Tesla's smallest vehicle, and it's big. It's a big, full-size sedan. Americans don't want small vehicles, right? We don't want small anything. So the auto manufacturers are catering to our desires for big vehicles because they marketed to us at big equals better and safe. So we've sort of been brainwashed into this repetitive pattern of bigger means safer and bigger is better. What we don't understand is that if we want to be really environmentally conscious about saving the planet, what we really want are smaller EVs with smaller battery cells that use less material in the batteries, in the construction of them, less cobalt, less nickel, and less mining of these materials to make these batteries. If we have smaller EVs with smaller battery cells that get just as much range because they're not carrying a lot of weight around, that would be amazing. Like I said, give me a Golf GTI sized EV that can get 300 plus miles of range. I'm in. I would absolutely pull the trigger. But because of the environmental impact, EVs are sold as planet-saving devices. And to mine the materials to be shipped over to a factory to be made into batteries, which are then shipped over here to be made into the cars, which are then shipped again to be delivered to dealers and customers. I cannot imagine that being planet-saving environmentalism versus buying a used Honda Civic, for example, or buying a used small Toyota with like 10, 20, 30,000 miles even for less money, and just using that as a daily driver and then recycling it at the end, which brings me to my other big point. The technology is not quite there yet. I think last year I saw a Jerry Rig Everything video where he went to a facility that basically recycled 95% of an EV, including the cobalt and the nickel material in the batteries, which is amazing. That was one of my big, no points on buying an EV, was at the time you couldn't recycle the batteries. Now the technology is there where you can recycle a lot of the material, and it's only going to get better from there. So my mind is going to shift from it was a hard no, now it's right at the cusp. Give it another 2-3 years maybe, I'll probably be on the absolutely yes, I'm ready for an EV, bandwagon. I'll probably be there in like 2 or 3 years. But right now, if I'm really thinking of an environmental impact, I'm not driving my Mustang every day. My Mustang is my recreational, once in a while fun vehicle. And my Golf GTI, which I get 5 to 550 miles a tank, I drive very efficiently, and that's all gas, not even a hybrid. It has a small fuel tank, so I get 500 miles of range easily on that thing. And you can recycle just about every inch of that car. So I think my Golf GTI, over its lifetime, will be more environmentally friendly for the construction, the life, and the recycling of it than if I got a Model 3 or an EV. Because most people have EVs till like, 10, 11 years maybe, and then they either scrap it for a new one or they sell it to get a new one. And I think that has to do more with the mentality of people always wanting to level up and like get a new one because they're bored of their cars. I don't get it. My Golf GTI is from 2020 and my Mustang's a 2008 model year, and I wouldn't trade either of them for anything in the world. I love my two cars. I guess what I'm trying to say is, would I buy one of these right now? Probably not. I think if I'm going to buy a new car and I want to be environmentally conscious, if I were to buy brand new right now, I would buy the new Civic Sport Touring Hybrid Hatchback. I get the range and the miles per gallon that I would want. I get the ease of maintenance because it's a Honda. I get the environmentally conscious, fuel efficiency with it being a hybrid and getting 50, 60 miles a gallon. I get a small fuel tank so it doesn't consume much. And again, I just get the gratification of knowing that it is a well-made Honda. I'll be able to recycle every inch of it. And if I take care of it, it will last 20, 30, even 40 years. So I think for those reasons, I'm not completely on the bandwagon of buying an EV. All right, I had to switch to my phone because my camera ran out of batteries because I was blabbering too much. So anyway, what I was saying, as much as I really love this car, overall I do. I've made my points about what I like, what I don't like, what I find stupid about it. I've talked about the logical reasons why I don't, why I'm not going to pull the trigger on one of these things right now. But we need to face a harsh reality. Dinosaurs like me, we need to face a reality. We will run out of oil. It's inevitable. We will run out of oil eventually, and we will need to find another means of transport. EVs are the future. We need to accept that. EVs are going to replace the gas cars the way the car replaced the horse and carriage. It's inevitable. That's what's going to happen. However, the technology for me right now is not there. It's not just there yet to be able to consciously and, the reassurance is not there 100% yet for me to pull the trigger on this personally. However, when EVs first came out, everyone, hard no, right? We were all there. Now, with EVs the way they are right now, I think 90% of people could live with one of these cars. I love it. This has been an amazing experience, getting used to a Tesla, getting used to the EV lifestyle, getting used to pulling up to supercharger stations and literally killing two birds with one stone here, making content for you guys and also talking about the car. It's been great. Overall, if I were to buy brand new right now, if I had the money to buy a brand new car, the choice would be either this or the Honda Civic Sport Touring Hybrid Hatchback. And I think I'm leaning more towards the hybrid, just because of the environmental impact that car would have, because of the price, and also because of the reliability and build quality that comes with owning a quality product like a Honda. And that's just my thoughts, guys. Again, I'm a dinosaur. This is my first time experiencing living with an EV in day-to-day life. And it's been fun. Overall, it's been a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.